Welcome to the first edition of Housing Development for the year 2022. Predictions are beginning to pour in for the real estate sector this year. What is in store for Nigerian housing sector? While no one can predict exactly what will happen, however, stakeholders see a positive light in the sector in 2022. Now looking back, the housing market has done well despite many problems caused by the pandemic. Let's have a look at the news that made hit over the last couple of days in the housing sector. As always, I am your housing diva, Flora Annie. I'll be back in a moment.
Abbey Mortgage Bank has been honored with the Innovative Mortgage Bank of the Year 2021 by the African Housing Awards in recognition of its innovative contributions to the growth and development of the Nigerian mortgage industry. While receiving the award on behalf of the company, Mr. Oladipupo Adeoye, the Executive Director, Treasury, Operations and Construction Finance, expressed their appreciation and honors in receiving the award, stating that it is a reflection of the continuous effort of management towards providing creative solutions for their clients. Abbey Mortgage Bank's Group Head, Corporate Services, Bukola Ewe Dairo, expressed delight over the recognition from African Housing Awards as an indication of the positive outcome of their transformation journey. The federal government has said that it will collaborate with the Nigerian Exchange Limited, NGX, to build a framework that helps issuers navigate climate disclosure and ultimately improve the climate data available to the investment and finance community. The Minister of State for Environment, Chief Sharon Ikeazo, stated this during the digital closing gong ceremony hosted by NGX to mark the end of the 2021 stock trading year in Lagos. Ikeazo noted that NGX has played an exemplary role in Nigeria's commitment to mitigating the effects of climate change. She added that climate change is a serious and long-term threat to which Nigeria has continued to show commitment to the goals of the Paris Agreement on climate change. Hence, the recent ascent of the climate change by President Muhammadu Buhari, which provides, amongst other things, the mainstreaming of climate changes in the country and the establishment of Council on Climate Change. Project Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of Monolg Housing Limited, Comrade Richard Bawan, has said that the construction of affordable mass housing units for local government workers in Plateau State will commence in the first quarter of 2022. He disclosed this while receiving the technical report on the assessment of 397 building firms who bidded for the project. According to Bawan, the submission of the technical report was all that was needed for the construction to commence, stating that with the report being received, the construction will commence in earnest. With a number of 370 houses to be constructed in each of the 17 local governments of the state for the local government staff, amounting to a total of 6,290 units. The mass housing scheme is expected to bridge the housing deficit in Plateau State. Mr. Olayemi Shonubi, the president of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, NIQS, has expressed the challenges being faced in their drive to curb corruption in the construction industry to ensure probity and accountability of public funds. In his statement, quantity surveyors as construction and cost management professionals hold the key to stemming corruption in construction and infrastructure development projects in Nigeria. He further stated that globally, the basic and fundamental document used for procurement of construction and engineering projects remains the Bill of Quantities, BOQ.
To read the full details of the news and all the housing reports, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Moving on. What are Nigerians saying about the challenges experienced in the sector in 2021? What improvement would they want to see in 2022? Let's find out on Voices on the Street.
One thing is that they say the geologist is supposed to interview and examine the weight of the earth before putting a structure on it. But it comes to my knowledge that many people are ignorant of it. And it results to collapsing of building. You can imagine a place that is a shallow, like a swamping place. You go and build 4-story building, which carries a lot of heavy blocks and ions. When the earth, the water soaked it to the level, I believe there's a level of quantity of water that's supposed to affect the cement, that the cement have the capacity to absorb.
Government knows that as a growing economy and a growing population in Nigeria, the house and shelter is a challenge. And until they go to think of the middle class and the lower class to do massive housing, then we are still not going to get a good smile.
You go to so many estates in this country, you see there are a lot of houses that are dominant there, nobody's using them. And the place that is that the ordinary men can afford in this country, some of those people that are occupying those estates, they are going there to occupy those places. So there is no space for the city. Some people that are the less privileged to occupy that place, there is no space for them anymore. So some people are going.
We want government to narrow down their policy in the sense that it becomes liberal, that each and every individual from anywhere can access these funds, make their contribution, and then have access to houses. There are several houses lying fallow without occupants, and I don't know what government is doing about that.
The regulation when it comes to building houses, and I think the government is doing well, because you see where they write demolition, which means maybe, I don't know why they write, I just feel maybe the quality of what they're using is not good enough. Then the improvement I feel that should come when it comes to housing, if it's possible for people to pay monthly, because there are places where you pay monthly and everybody becomes half house. Other places, in Nigeria, you pay 1 year. Sometimes landlords tell you to pay 2 years. It's actually 2 ways, though. For the landlord, it benefits them. But for people who are coming in, it's not easy, you understand? But if it's possible for the government to make it, what happened to the low cost houses? Like, everything is privatized and everybody's just suffering so much, and the government can do something about it.
If you notice in, let me say, the Abuja scenario now, what you actually have is a lot of people can't actually afford houses close to FCC within the center. They are always very, very expensive. So as a result, you have much of the labor force coming from the outskirts of Abuja. You have people coming from Suleja. You have people coming from Nyanya, and so affordability and availabilities seems to be a very serious issue.
Kabir Ganu here, CEO of Benson Hammers Affordable. Keep watching Housing Development Program.
Voices on the Street there. Some of the challenges experienced in 2021 the respondents mentioned are housing affordability, poor access to mortgage finance, unoccupied housing estates, while some are sleeping on the bridges, building collapse experienced in some states of the Federation. They all wish for housing affordability and accessibility for low-income Nigerians. Let's go for a short break. I'll be back.
My name is Alhaji Dr. Ali Orojuwamoko, the President of Real Estate Developers Association. I urge you to keep watching Housing Development Program, because it's the only way out for you to understand the housing business and housing delivery in Nigeria.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. It's the start of a new year. What would 2022 housing market look like? Estate surveyor and valuer Olufemi Oyedele in a Zoom interview give an outlook for the year 2022. Let's have a look.
The real estate market outlook for 2022. And I told the whole world that in 2021, the prediction was that the real estate market in Nigeria will experience 1.5% growth. Despite COVID-19 and despite the breach of trust due to some miscreants producing properties that eventually collapsed, and then those that the property developers that will collect money from their buyers and will not deliver. We still, despite those challenges, the real estate sector in Nigeria for 2021 still outperformed its prediction by growing from 1.5 to 2.3. We experienced 2.3 growth last year. Now, for this year, professionals, especially in the real estate sector, the real estate market, they are saying that we are going to experience 2.9 based on some factors. The factors being that now the COVID-19 is gradually eroding. We are no more, a lot of, you can see me, I'm not wearing mask now. I can see Mr. Adebayo is not wearing mask. It's because the environment is now becoming less serious with this issue of COVID-19. Due to this, a lot of people will have the opportunity of doing their businesses, and then we are going to experience more money. Apart from that, the government for this year lined out a lot of projects that they are going to execute. This is going to cost money, and it's going to put a lot of people in market, making them have purchasing power. For example, there is this CBN 100 for 100 project. CBN is committing 5 billion naira into that project. That's one. There is this what we call Jubilee Fund for graduates, 75,000 naira. If a graduate is getting 75,000 naira from the federal government every month, definitely we will look for a house of maybe 25,000 naira per annum. That's something. So I'm just seeing a lot of projects like that for this year alone. And then when we look at our improved budget, when I'm improved in quote, I'm quoting that improved in the sense that the volume is increasing, is an improvement in our budget for this year. Second, Buhari signed before we did New Year. He signed that budget, meaning that execution of budget for this year is going to be unprecedented. We are going to start executing. That is, we are going to start executing projects on in that budget, 2022 budget, very, very, very early, as we have never experienced before. All these will assist in achieving that 2.9 growth. And then the last one, which I must not miss, is the fact that we are in pre-election year. This is 2022, and 2023 is when we are going to conduct the most important election in Nigeria, which is the presidential election. There is going to be a lot of under the campaign guide, GUIS, under the exercise of campaigning. Money we exchange hand. We can see what when in Lagos I saw what happened during the Christmas and New Year. A lot of politicians buying Christmas gifts because we are moving into pre-election year. This trend will continue, and it will definitely impact the real estate sector for this year. So, residential estate and commercial real estate being the core, major, is the main focus in Nigeria. In Nigeria here, those two land use, residential real estate and commercial real estate, they take like between 70 to 75% of the market. So they are going to, the two areas is going to record tremendous growth.
is surveyor and valuer Olufemi Oyedele there with a positive outlook for the real estate sector in 2022. Now, starting the new year with a positive step of providing low-income earners with low-cost housing they can afford will be a great achievement. Now, architect Mohammed Sada, former Minister of Mines and Steel, says one major way to bring down the cost of materials for affordable housing to be achievable is a shift towards the usage of locally produced materials. Now, take a listen.
Building materials often constitute the single largest input to housing construction in most developing country cities, particularly in Africa. The potentials and benefits of local building materials remain untapped and seem to progress at a slow rate in the Nigerian building industry. There are lots of building materials that can be sourced locally for construction purpose. A reduction in the cost of material can also result in reduction in overall construction costs. According to architect Mohammed Sada, he says one major way to bring down the cost of material for affordable housing to be achievable is a shift towards the usage of local materials.
We can start looking at material development. We know right from colonial times how much importance wood plays in construction of houses because they are properly seasoned. They produce so many. In those days, your balusters for your staircases and these are all made of wood. You have even floors made of wood. You have structures made of wood, and we have this wood here. We have to start thinking of investing in it so that local building material development becomes a big issue even for property developers. You are doing it, you must participate and make sure that those that are making effort to promote these things, you are a party to it because you'll be the end users. And these are some of the things that will take you away from the forex. The moment you start importing building components, building finishes, you're already throwing yourself into the forex problem of the country. Everything will now start interpreting into foreign exchange. And then you are completely dislodged from that line of affordability that you want to build. So if we go back and start looking at those things, recently there have been a lot of noise about bamboo. We need to see property developers getting on board in how do we, don't just look at it and condemn it. No, it will not do this, it will not do this. Some of the materials that we are now relying on to do were products of research. They were not there, they are not there before. If you see the kind of steel girders that are used to build some of the old warehouses in London, you will know that how much development has gone into steel, where now you have leaner sections supporting stronger, heavier weights and so on and so forth.
Building materials accounts for between 55% to 65% of construction cost, and most of the materials used in Nigeria are imported. Many African countries, despite the abundant natural resources that can meet their needs for building materials production, still depend largely on imported building materials and technologies. It is pertinent to note that a key benefit of the use of local building materials in housing delivery is cost reduction, which in turn makes the houses being built affordable. The Board and Management of Africa International Housing Show, AIHS, wishes to thank all its partners and friends who made 2021 a successful year. May God Almighty protect and bless you all and your businesses. Welcome to a brand new year, 2022.
The program is Housing Development. Coming up next is our Women Crush Wednesday. Who do we have as our crush today? Let's find out.
Revealing our Woman Crush this Wednesday, Mrs. Ife Umunakwe Okeke. She is founder and chief executive officer of Lexon Capital, a firm founded in 2009 to advise and provide infrastructure and real estate financing to enterprises and institutions. With over 20 years experience in law, investment banking, and project financing, Ife has a diversified outlook and applies this to the company's strategies. After acquiring her MSc in 1999, she commenced work in Rakinson's Solicitors, a top City of London law firm, which merged with Steptoe & Johnson LLP, an international law firm with its headquarters in Washington, D.C. There she qualified as a solicitor with a focus on corporate law and mergers. Mrs. Ifunanya with her team is passionate about easier access to home ownership, especially for young professionals looking to get on the property ladder at an early stage, with numerous scholarship programs for people seeking to further their knowledge, having the Wavecrest College of Hospitality on the list. In Nigeria, she worked with Nigeria's foremost investment bank, IBTC, and after 5 years, joined BGL Private Equity, setting up its private equity offshore fund. Shortly after, Mrs. Umunakwe, with her incredible skills and knowledge in the real estate sector, partnered developers, private equity firms and cooperatives, including UACN Property Development Company, African Capital Alliance, Coast Grove, Bilad, NNPC Cooperative, NLMG Cooperative, and many others. Mrs. Umunakwe Okeke is an independent director and board committee in risk management and corporate strategy at Veritas Glanville's Pension Fund, one of the highly rated PFAs in the country. She is also a director at IGM Developers Limited, a real estate development company based in the United Kingdom. She has a second-class upper law degree from the University of Buckingham, a postgraduate diploma in legal practice from the College of Law, Stoll Street, United Kingdom, and an MSc in Finance, Regulation and Risk Management from Henley Business School at University of Reading. Over the years, she has acquired extensive executive training from Harvard Business School and George Business School, University of Cambridge, with articles and papers published over the years. She loves traveling, reading, and skiing, a truly happily married woman. There is, therefore, no doubt in choosing Mrs. Ife Umunakwe Okeke as our woman crush this Wednesday.
I think that should go. One who is referred to as Action Man. Oh yeah. Oga will not.
Woman crush this Wednesday.
One who is referred to as Action Man. Oh yeah.